Hello everyone and welcome to Be on Reddit. My 22 female boyfriend 28 male plans on seeing his ex 30 female and her dog for Christmas. Original post November 9, 2023. My 22 female boyfriend 28 male have been seeing each other for about 6 months, and with the holidays approaching we have been discussing our plans. Some background. He and his ex, 30 female, dated for about 4 years and moved to a small town together before amicably breaking up. His ex had a dog which he really grew to love during their relationship. He still sees his ex and the dog frequently to go for walks and catch up. They also message each other about the dog quite often. My boyfriend and I have had discussions about how I feel uncomfortable with the amount of contact between him and his ex, and it has, to my knowledge, lessened since. The dog is like a child to them, which is something that I can't really understand. More of a cat person, so I wouldn't want to ban him from seeing or hearing about the dog ever again. The dog's birthday happens to fall on Christmas, and when we were discussing our potential plans, he said that if we didn't end up spending the holiday together, he would probably go for a walk with his ex and the dog to celebrate, as it might be the dog's last birthday. I found this strange but also understandable since his family doesn't live in our town and he doesn't go home for the holidays due to work. My family live here and I will be more than likely spending the entirety of Christmas Day with them, so it's not likely that we'll be spending time together. Obviously, an easy solution is for us to go to these family events together, which is something I'm not opposed to, but still find it strange that he would spend the day with his ex and the dog if I did my own thing. Am I overreacting or is this strange? TLDR, my boyfriend still sees his ex and her dog and will more than likely spend Christmas together if we don't have plans. Now for the comments. A redditor says, obviously, an easy solution is for us to go to these family events together, which is something I'm not supposed to. Info: why exactly is he not invited to Christmas at your family with you? If you're going to be the entire Christmas day with your family without him, what exactly do you expect him to do? OP responds, he hasn't met my family yet and it feels intense to introduce him to everyone at a large family event. He often does solo camping trips to national parks when I'm busy with work, so I sort of assumed that would be his plan for Christmas if we didn't spend time together. Update December 3, 2023, almost a month later. Thought I would provide a small and relatively mundane update to my last post. After reading through the responses, I came to the conclusion that the reasonable thing to do was talk to my boyfriend about the ex and the dog and let him know how I was feeling. Sorry to disappoint those who thought that the best way forward was to break up. But kudos to those who suspected there was something going on. We talked about how it was a bit strange that he and his ex would catch up and talk on these walks. Even though he insisted it was only about the dog, I disagreed and brought up other times he and his ex have discussed things. I am aware of this because he would tell me when he gets home. I did bring up the Reddit post and he felt like her being asexual was a huge thing to factor in. I explained that her being asexual made things worse because their relationship was still sort of the same as it was when they were together. He agreed and said that it was wrong and that he would discuss picking the dog up for walks and not seeing the dog on Christmas. Long story short, he messaged his ex saying that they should only be in contact about the dog, and she did not react well. She got very upset and blocked him on everything. She texted him a couple of days after asking him to grab a few things that he had at her house. He lives in an apartment and doesn't really have anywhere to store his camping stuff. She offered to let him keep it at her house. She also said that she won't message him anymore because she doesn't want to make his new girlfriend uncomfortable, and that if he wants updates about the dog, he will have to reach out to her. He hasn't messaged her since. I have my suspicions that she still had feelings for him and was kind of hoping that they would get back together. My boyfriend is really upset that he won't be able to see the dog anymore, but he's also come to terms with it and knows that the dog is getting the best care possible. We made plans for Christmas and he started to slowly meet my family. To clarify a few things from my last post, no, I genuinely don't think he was or is cheating on me. Like I said, he works away and when he's back, we spend most of our free time together. When he's away, we keep in touch, FaceTime, phone calls, etc. Him not attending my family Christmas events was something that we discussed together and he was okay with it as he knows my family can be a bit intense. Reading through a few of the comments did make me realize that I would be hurt if he asked the same of me, and then get upset if I made other plans. And lastly, no, I wasn't going to break up with him without having a proper conversation about it all. He's pretty much perfect, excluding the complicated ex and dog. TLDR, spoke to my boyfriend about my feelings. He wanted to only discuss the dog with his ex and she cut contact. I think she still has feelings for him. We're still very much together and have plans for Christmas with just the two of us as he slowly is introduced to my family. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother if he's going to be late, don't show up? Original post, November 12, 2023. I, 31 female, and my husband, 29 male, got married a week ago. Yay. I spent 2 years planning my wedding and everything was great except for my brother's 36 male tardiness with every event he came to. For context, my brother and I don't get along, never have. I only invited him for my parents. Also, I was adopted, so he's not biologically related to me. He's always late and in the past we've had to tell him an event was 2 hours earlier than it really was so he would be on time. He was late to my high school and college graduation and missed me walk both times. When I was sending invitations, I put an extra note in his that read as follows. I know mom, dad and I would love for you to attend, but if you're going to be late, don't bother showing up. Your girlfriend and her daughter are welcome to attend with or without you. He called me for the first time in years and cussed me out for the note. I held my ground and said I would still appreciate him coming to the wedding, but I will not allow him to interrupt the ceremony by being late. He then called my parents and yelled at them as well. They said it was my wedding and they stood by my decision. He came to the wedding, but he walked in as I was walking down the aisle and walked past me to his seat. I was horrified and embarrassed and mad. I didn't know exactly what I was feeling in the moment, but it was a mixture of things. After the ceremony, my dad and my biological father, who I've become close with over the years since I met him, both spoke to my brother about how that was inappropriate and rude. My brother didn't care and asked where the bar was. He was forced to leave. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. A Redditor asks, why do you still allow him in your life when he's clearly not interested? There's late and then there's walking down the aisle at a wedding. OP responds, it's one of the many reasons we don't get along. He blames me ruining his single kid fantasy because our parents chose to adopt me. My dad is an attorney and heard about my situation when I was 6 and adopted me. He said I ruined his life. Another editor says, do your parents know this? OP responds, no, I never told them. I don't want to feel like they have to choose between their kids. My brother likes to remind that he's their son. I'm not their daughter, just some kid they took pity on, but I never saw it that way. When told his loss, OP replies, "Thank you. He treats me like this, then asks to use my equipment. I own a cattle ranch when his isn't working. I've never loaned it out because I don't trust it to come back working." She mentions in another comment, "He wants to be my brother when he wants to use my shooting range or my four-wheeler. I've never let him onto the ranch. He's never even seen my house. My daughter is afraid of him, honestly." A Redditor asks, "Why did you invite him at all, especially if your daughter is afraid of him?" She says, "She was only there to be the flower girl. She's autistic and gets overwhelmed easily. So as soon as she was done walking the aisle, she was taken home." In another comment she says, "I only invited him because my parents said with the photos with the whole family would be nice." She was asked, were his girlfriend and child already there or did they walk in with him? OP responds, "They were already seated and it caused a huge argument between them because she called me and apologized after profusely apologizing all night at the reception. My brother also thought my wedding was tacky and hick because the reception was in a barn." Someone asks, "Who made him leave?" OP responds, "My dad and bio dad. My uncle helped escort him out. Basically, 3 out of the 4 most important men. My husband was busy showing me off." Someone asks, "Did you get photos?" She replies, "He was kicked out before photos were taken, and the photographer stopped taking photos when he walked in, so the shots weren't ruined." OP mentions about the honeymoon and moving forward. "My parents are taking my brother out to dinner next weekend to discuss his behavior since my husband and I are on our honeymoon for the next 3 weeks. We're taking my daughter with us because I don't want to inconvenience my parents or ask one of my ranch hands' wives to watch her. We decided on a Disney honeymoon so our daughter can have a good time and a Disney cast member can watch her when we want some alone time." She also mentions in another comment, "I decided to host Christmas at my ranch and told my parents he's not welcome. If he tries to show up, my ranch hands will be taking shifts as security so they and their families can also enjoy the night. They weren't at my wedding. I regret I have. I know all of them. Carter specifically would have started a fight about it." OP is voted not the a-hole. Update. November 17, 2023, 5 days later. As a lot of people in the comments on the original post said, "I told my parents everything. How my brother has told me that I ruined his single child fantasy. How my parents pitied me and that's why they adopted me. How I'll never be a member of the family, etc. I also told them that if I host any events at my home or ranch, I will be hosting Christmas this year since I have the space for the whole family, biological and adopted. My brother will not be invited. I do not want him in my life anymore. The event at my wedding was the final straw. I will be civil if we see each other at family functions that I am not hosting, but I will not be in contact with him anymore unless there is an emergency with our parents. My parents support and understand my position. I told them that this is not me making them choose between us, and this is just me drawing a line in the sand and setting a boundary. I love my parents. They saved me from a horrible situation and gave me the best life I could have hoped for. If not for them, I wouldn't have my beautiful daughter, wouldn't have met my husband, or have my amazing ranch." My ranch hands, Lloyd in particular, said that if my brother ever attempted to come onto the ranch without my knowledge, they would boot him fast. Of course, his wife and daughter are welcome anytime. I want to thank everyone for the support and kind comments and helping me see that he does not treat me like family, and I should stop trying to extend the olive branch since he keeps burning it. That was the end of the video. Comment down below to share what you thought. press like and subscribe and click the notification bell for more regular updates. Thank you for watching.